Good morning, Flosstube. I've got Eric. He is here. He's on holiday here. By the way, look at the size of Eric. Do you remember Eric? He has visibly put on weight. Sorry, love. Oh, ow, ow, ow. He's visibly put on weight since he's been living with my mum and dad. He's on holiday here this week to see how he goes. Cosmo, stop scratching. Cosmo's wearing a tube sock now. We've gone from all sorts of everything. We've settled on old socks. He's being a pest. His neck's itchy at the moment. I might have to eject him so he goes out and thinks of something else for a bit. But I currently have 4 cats in the conservatory with me. I have Eric, who surprisingly has been here for a day and a half now, and he's doing okay. We've got Sid on a chair, got Nancy on the sofa, and Cosmo there. And it turns out the hierarchy is Nancy, followed by Sid, Eric slotted in there, Cosmo, tube sock guy, is at the bottom of the heap. He's got very used to having something around his neck, so I think I'm going to have to knit him little snoods. Is the hair's growing back? Look, he's got hair there now. It's just, oh, we're going to have some bad words now because the only problem we've got is Sid and Eric. Eric! That's Eric. I've got 4 cats in here. 3 live together and 1 is visiting. This week is to decide whether Eric is going to come here full time or whether he's going to live at Grandma and Grandpa's and come here when my parents are away. My mum and dad are completely besotted with him and feed him an awful lot. He is visibly chunking up, which is good because he was very thin before. Eric, Cosmo, you leave your neck alone. Cosmo, no, leave your neck alone, buddy. Come on. Right, I'm gonna have to organise the cats a bit. Cosmo's in a scratchy mood. Cosmo, are you scratchy? Sid and Eric are having a conversation that's mostly swear words. Nancy's minding her own business. But in the big scheme of things, there's not been a massive fight. There's not been a big scrap. Today's the first day they're going to be left together because I've got work. Richard's at work. Flora's coming with me and she's got a sleepover with a friend tonight. So there's going to be no adult in the house between 9 and 2. So we'll shut Eric in Flora's annex. So it's 3 rooms he'll have, so it's not too bad. Just until Richard gets home from work, and then he can be kitty wrangler for a bit. I do have all 4 of them in the conservatory with me right now, which is going to be entertaining. I'm here to talk about cross stitch. That was a bit of cat wrangling there, but I wanted to show you Eric because I've had lots of comments about whether I'm going to be able to bring my cats here. But answers yes and no. Oh, he's gone off camera to scratch now. Cosmo, I'm going to pop him out. Hang on. Right. I've just ejected Cosmo. He's now sitting on the grass. I now can't hear him scratching. He's not doing big damage to himself anymore. He's almost healed, but of course it's furiously itchy. So he wears a piece of tube sock, which just stops him. He's just jumped up onto the fence. You'll probably see him come across the top of the shed in a minute. I'll reorganise the cats if it gets too noisy, but they have to get to know each other. And nobody's actively hurting anybody there. They're just sounding off. Okay, cross stitch. I've had quite a busy week. I don't think I've done very much cross stitch. I've made a few things that aren't quite finished yet, but I haven't had a lot of time. It's the same thing. When I'm working, I get back from work, I'm exhausted. I need to sleep. I get back up, I'm groggy. I'll do a bit of stitching, and that's me. So I'm off tomorrow. I've just not had days off together, which is when I can really get stuff done. I'm off tomorrow. I'll have my little boy all day, which is lovely. And I think we're just going to have a nice quiet day where I can put together a load of Dragons on keys. I've had some orders for them, sort of advance, could you make me this and this? So they're very nearly ready, and there'll be a batch going up there'll be a batch going up. I'm so not really wanting to use Etsy, but it's really the only way of doing it, isn't it? So for now, we'll just keep using Etsy. And that'll be that. So we're just trucking along. I've not sent out messages about the thread, about the Needle Minder of the Month Club yet, because I've not quite organised it up right yet. I need to open a business PayPal because I have a private PayPal, but I need a business PayPal so that I can send invoices so it's proper and correct rather than me just being a bit up in the air. So I need to open one of those. It's going to take me half an hour, you know, but I still have to do it. I still have to find the half an hour to do that where I'm not wanting to stitch or I'm not exhaustively tired because I don't want to get it wrong. So I'll do that, get that all running, and then I'll link that to the bank account I use for Etsy. So all my craft stuff's kept together, which makes keeping track of it all very much easier because obviously I also work full time, so I need to keep track of the two pots, and then I'll send out messages. My first batch of needle minders are 80% finished. I made them, I got them all ready, and I thought I need a little bit of something else with them, so I've got the things ready to zhuzh, and then we'll be ready to go. So that's on the way. I've done nearly 7 minutes and all you've heard is cats growling at each other. I mean, Eric and Sid are literally 12 inches away from each other there, and they've both settled down. Eric's looking out of one of the conservatory windows and Sid's on a chair. So it could have gone so much worse. It really could have done. It could have been a case of, right, this can't happen, let's keep him separate and take him back when my parents get back from their holiday. He will be going back to Grandma and Grandpa's when they get back. It's just a case of in the summer when Flora's finished her exams and she's here 100% of the time, whether he comes with her and lives here permanently or he stays at Grandma and Grandpa's, because they've completely fallen for him. And it's a wonderful, safe, one cat environment for him. But he's always lived with other cats. So, you know, you used to hear back at my beginning Flosstube videos when Eric was a kitten and I had Clive, who was top cat, my forever top cat, and the swearing that Clive used to emit out to Eric. I think he's just like, I've heard that all before, it doesn't touch me. So it's all right, you know. I think my parents would miss Eric unbelievably. They've got very used to having him around. Anyway, cross stitch. If not, doesn't feel like I've done a great deal. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things to show you cross stitch wise here. First of all, I'm going to go straight to my pointed fifth. I did put a picture up on Facebook in the Long Dog group, so anyone who's in the Long Dog group might very well have seen it. The last time, so pointed fifth will look like this. My pointed fifth will not look like this. It will look, the pattern's the same, but mine is very different. And last time I filmed, it was here at 52.6, I think. I've stopped just over 55%, just because I got myself a bit bogged down with turquoise. So this time, putting away for now, it looks like this. The light's not very good today, guys, so it's not, there we go, it's gone light now. So I've finished the bottom of let's get it right in shot there. Oh, there we go. So I basically got to the bottom of these arches and went along with an awful lot of turquoise there, and I just reached the point where I thought, I'm over this turquoise, and I am. I've finished it, so that's fine. Time to pop it away for a bit. So it's time to pop it away for a bit, which is absolutely okay. I've given myself 4 years to finish it, and I've done 6% nearly in this little go. 5.5% maybe in this little go. So pointed fifth is going away, and because I put pointed fifth away, I pulled out, covered in silk, I pulled out Jack B Nimble, which is not going to look like Jack B Nimble, which is one of the, I think it might be the newest Long Dog release. Full picture here. I'm not stitching it like this. I am, give me, Sid, hang on. Right, so my Jack B Nimble is going to look like this, but reversed. So I'm doing it in a big, tall, long piece. I've selected out which pieces I'm going to put where. It's the full pattern, apart from all the little fishes and things, which I'll probably slot in, but there's plenty of room for me to put my initials and the date maybe down here. Anyway, so I'm on this little bottom section here. They are fairly solid stitching. So the last time I picked it up, it looked like this. I know, because I took a photo of it before I started. And right now it looks like this. This is on a piece of 20 count. It was easy grid. I bought it to do the Little Dreamers tree on, which I'm going to buy another piece eventually and start the Little Dreamers tree, but that's epic, so not yet. So I dyed it, over dyed it, burnt it in the microwave, my normal kind of shiz, and I'm filling in these waves. There's another one there I've yet to fill in, and I've started up on the next bit of pattern. These are absolutely tiddly tiny 20 count. I'm using 2 strands of silk because one strand just didn't quite, which is weird because on 36 count one strand of silk's perfect, but on the 40 count, I think it's because it was Ada and it was over dyed so much, it just didn't lay, the stitches just didn't lay perfectly flat. This is called, I can't remember, might be Opal. It's Karen Water Lily, which comes as a 12 strand. So I bought 2 skeins. 2 skeins probably won't be enough because I'm doing it over 2 and I thought I was doing it over 1. It is Opal. There's my other one, which is just basically like an ivory colour, ever so slightly pinky orangey perhaps, but it's Opal. There we go, that's my unused skein there, which is in a box with all sorts of little random items in it, including a snake necklace that Lizzie has made that I've yet to mount, which is very cool, but that's to sit sort of there. We're yet to finish these things. Anyway, Opal, Karen Water Lily, Jack B Nimble. So I've done a little bit and I'll do a little bit more. I'd kind of like to get that whole bottom, that first motif finished so that I can then join the next motif to it and see how it fits together. But that's quite a bit of stitching because of course I'm only just along this bottom bit here. I'm just starting to touch these. So the first motif takes it right up to these dingly danglies here with the ship in the top there. But I might do, or I might just go up and see, we'll see how I get on. But Jack B Nimble will look like that. It is going to be well over 1 metre long, but that's what I've swapped out for. Cosmo's just jumped on the roof because he likes it on the roof of the conservatory for reasons unknown. He's a funny cat. Next I've got my Manzano Aerial Mermaid, which will look like this, absolutely beautiful. The last time I recorded it looked like this, and I was just going to fill in a few of the blanks basically, which I kind of have done because I'm going to take it out of the Q-snap and put it away I think now, and now it looks like this. So I've got a full solid line along the top there, which is what I was aiming to do. I filled in quite a bit of this black and there was a big gape somewhere along here. There was a big gap of gaping bit of where the black was meant to go. So I filled in a fair bit there, and that's just black and 939 really was all I put in. Put in a couple of colours over here, like a strand of colour over here. But I think there was an 823 in there just because I've always got 823 on the go, haven't I, at the moment. So that's that. So I'm going to take that out of the Q-snap and pop it away. I'm craving non-full coverage maybe. I fancied, so much cat fur in this room. I was fancying Halloween really weirdly, and I've only got one, I think, Halloween piece, which is Everything's Better with a Little Magic, an Emma Congdon piece out of a magazine. So I'm maybe going to pull that out and put some stitching into that. Maybe. We'll see how I do. Because as the month closes, I'm also going to be putting away my Modern Folk embroidery. This is the 2021 Sal, which is here. And I thought, it being May, I might concentrate and see if I could get May done. Last time I filmed, it was here. And it's now here. So all I've got left to do for May, I have gone, there's so much fur, I have gone a little over the edge because I've now got a full pattern, so it isn't marking where the months are on the pattern. It's kind of marking like some sort of page, but it's not 12 pages, if you see what I mean, which would have been really helpful for us that are still like trying to stitch months. But I can now do the month this way and the month that way, keeping the line about right, and I'll know I've got April and June, but I'm not going to be doing June yet. So all I've got left to do is fill in this bit here. It is pretty solid to there, and then I've got a tree. The tree here obviously continues down in a triangle, so it's not completely full coverage, but it is pretty full. So we'll see. I maybe get this done. I'll maybe stick at it until I finished it. I'll maybe put it away like this. Who knows? My 2 skein thread drop that I made. This is a really wonky one, by the way. This is why it's mine. It's most definitely a second quality one. Somehow it got itself. Can you see? It's like a gnome hat. It's pointing off to one corner. It's more like a little ghosty, but he's one of my little guys, and he holds my 2 colours. I've got 155 and 333, and absolutely brilliant. So when I need a thread, I can just pull one out from the loop, and when I'm stitching on it, I just turn it that way. So I've got my full stitching here, and then he's just there, and he's got my needle on him, which I've just obviously thrown on the floor because that's me. I was going to pop him back on the magnet there, and of course he's just fallen on the floor. That's wonderful. I'll find it in a moment. You know what? I need to find it now. I heard that tinkle onto the floor, but now it appears to have gone forever. That's super helpful. Anyway, this actually hasn't got the strongest. It has I didn't put my thread drop magnets on it. It's got a tiddler on the back, which is why it's not that strong. I don't use these tiddly magnets for. That's not even a big one. That's a standard magnet. That's a tiddly magnet. That's why it's not as grippy. I just picked up a back and plopped it on my work and plopped any back on it, and it was a tiddler, which is why it's not quite that grippy. But you know, if you stick it on with purpose and you don't try and throw it on, normally with my magnets I can throw one on and it'll find its way home, because then I just realised I've only put a tiny magnet on the back because it was just what I had. Modern Folk embroidery. Yep, this is a gorgeous piece of fabric. This is called Punch. It's Be Stitch Me, and it's 40 count. So it is absolutely beautiful, this fabric. You know, so there we are. So I'm nearly there with May. I'll either continue and finish May, or I won't. That's all I can say about it. Okay, and all I've got left really to do is tell you about my treasure hunt bookshelf, which I have had to be working on quite a lot because, yeah, it's nearly the end of the month. So it's currently at 0.82, but that's still 1,300 stitches to put into it. Super size, max colour treasure hunt bookshelf. Looks like this. I have to put it up full screen because it's so enormous. And where I was last time I filmed, I was here filling in 823, and I've moved my Q-snap, so where am I? Okay, so about the same piece that I was stitching on last week is roughly about there. So there's a lot of 823 gone in there. Basically all the dark bits you can see there is 823. I also put in there's a thread of yellow here and 434 here that I put a whole length in. Whole length for me on this is about 80 stitches. So I put that in because the next 823 is on the next shelf down, which is kind of here. So I was trying to bridge myself down to the next line of stitching. But that was going to be long and boring, not boring, a long process to get down there to the next 823, plus I really just want to be stitching on the 823. So I decided to move on from there. Basically all the 823 in this whole section here that I'm holding up is complete. There isn't any loose 823 there. So I moved over here where I'll put up a very small shot of the pattern keeper 823 so you can see where I'm heading, and it's here. So I'm doing this bit here, and there's a big swathe of 823 there, so that will probably eat up the last of my stitches for the month. And I have a 3 drop here, which is again a prototype, a tester. It looks like a koala to me because it's got a big hole and 2 little holes. That's Cosmo on the roof. It's raining, he's sliding, he's a fool, he'll be fine. He's jumped out of an upstairs window, so we know he can jump off the conservatory roof just fine. He does eventually. Don't know what he's doing up there, to be honest, but he isn't scratching his neck, so that's good. He is sliding around all over the place. What a fool. What a fool. Anyway, yeah, so I've got my 823 in the middle in the big hole. This is 939 and I've got some 310 on the end there. So improvement from last week when I was using a single hole thread drop. That one's got a proper magnet on, you can see my needle on there. And I'm going to carry on with 823. I'll put my number up here of how many stitches left to go, but I think I'm down into 7,000 now, possibly 7 something. I did look this morning, but I didn't write it down. Anyway, I've not got too far to go with him. And that's 10 days of stitching, 11 days of stitching, but you know, I've been busy. I have made quite a few things. Lizzie has made some dragons on keys. Now my daughter Lizzie, for those of you who are new or don't know, she is just about to turn 18 and she, fingers crossed, A-level results reliant, will be going to university to study illustration. She is our resident artist. Now Maddie is pretty arty. Lizzie knocks spots off it. She is unbelievably talented. She's also very good at making microscopic little things. So her dragons are not like my dragons. Her dragons are spectacular. So there will be some special dragons. I think there's 4 or 5 special dragons, which are Lizzie's creations. I had some, I'm just going to get my box, give me a second. So my dragon needle minder, my dragon scissor fobs are currently sitting in thread boxes, waiting to be finished. So they're sitting in their boxes with beads, and I'm just going to put all the jewellery findings. I need to add the clasps as well to the box. So each one has basically everything it needs right now. So I had 4 of these made like that, and they're clear with a colour band through the middle, so the end of his tail is completely clear. I had 4 of these. One got baked like that. He just ended up on the wrong pot, so he got baked, so he's a snake. Basically they start off as slightly tubby snakes, and then there are a few snakes, and then Lizzie got hold of them and she Lizzie'd them up. So this one here, this is Lizzie. And where's another one? This one here, this one's Lizzie. He's got the see-through wings. And Lizzie did a few other ones as well, which are quite beautiful. That's a Lizzie one. That one's got the opal polymer clay, so it's internally sparkly. And this one here, this one is Lizzie. This one is like a sea dragon because it is on a seahorse key. So that one is Lizzie. She's got more of an eye for detail than I have. My dragons next to her dragons look a bit more generic, but I got myself some chameleon mica powder. So the later of the dragons are now, I wish it was sunny. I wish it was sunny because they are really quite, they have got chameleon powder on them, so they're sort of two-tone sparkle. So there's a fair handful there. As I say, 5 or 6 of them are private orders. Not private orders, but you know what I mean. They've been allocated in advance, and the rest of them will be turning up in an Etsy shop near you. Yeah, some of them are gorgeous. This is very, her style's different. You can see which ones are hers and which ones are mine very easily. But yeah, she's pretty good at what she does. But her art exam is over. She's finished that. After half term, she's away this week with her friend, with 2 of her friends. She's at a cabin with 2 of her friends this weekend. The joy of having 18-year-old friends who drive cars. There we go. So she's away with 2 girlfriends, which is lovely this week. And she's sending me lots of photos, mostly of food she's cooking, because she's also very capable of feeding and managing. And when she gets back, she's got a maths A-level and a chemistry A-level to complete. And Flora is in the middle of her exams. Maddie is in the middle of her exams. Yeah, and then at some point in the summer, they'll all come here. And I'll have all my girls home, and they'll all be living here with me, which will be wonderful. And we'll have my little boy whenever I'm not working, basically. So I'm not working tomorrow, so we'll have my little boy, which will be lovely. And the rest of the time, he is perfectly happy with his dad. So we're settling out really quite well here at the moment. It's all right. There's going to be a bit of a scriggle in the summer. Just as soon as, all right, Cosmo is on the roof and he is sliding. He's really struggling to get down the glass. He's on the ridge, and there is a 10-foot long piece of glass for him to slide down, basically, and he's going to have to go for it. There he goes. Whoop. He's a numpty. I know he's fine. I've watched him slide all the way off and jump down before now. I'm not in the slightest bit concerned with him. He's a cat. But he's kind of stuck up there while it's wet. Silly boy, shouldn't have jumped up there. Yeah, there's going to be a bit of push and shove because the larger of the upstairs bedrooms, that isn't our room, currently is occupied 3 nights a week by a teenage boy, is going to be occupied 7 nights a week by 2 girls just over the summer, because I can't justify making them sleep on sofas in the living room, which they could, but it's not really fair when there's a room that's only used 3 nights a week in 2 days. They're not going to be happy, which means the 2 teenage boys are going to have to share for a couple of months, but it's only a couple of nights a week and they share at their mum's. Anyway, I better wrap this up. I have to leave for work in 1 hour and 20 minutes. I've got a funny shift today. I'm on 10-6 today. I worked yesterday, which was bank holiday, which was time and a half for me, so that was really good. Really long, hard shift though. It was really a lot of stock to work. Rather than it being full of people and mega busy, it was a lot of stuff to do. So we earned our extra money yesterday with it being a bank holiday, and was very pleased to get home. And then probably fell fast asleep, and then was like a toddler when I woke up. You know, like a grouchy toddler who's had a bad nap, and I was like that for a couple of hours. So that was super helpful. But yeah, we're going along fine. So hopefully I'll be back before another 2 weeks has passed. I'm trying to hit it between a week and 2 weeks at the moment, so it's not 2 full weeks between my videos. But I equally want to have stitching I can show you, and while I'm doing my stitching, I'm still trying to get on and get things made too. So yeah, Needleminder of the Month Club, fingers crossed you'll get a message if you've registered with me sort of on the Instagram post. The people who messaged and left a message on YouTube, I will comment on your comment and put my email address, which I'm also putting here, my CraftieEmily email address, which is a new email address I've made to deal with CraftieEmily, because obviously post split, Robin wanted his Craftie 6 back. It was his and his logo, and he wanted that back, which was fine, obviously. So I just made everything the same. So the email that was the email for that is defunct for me. And now I use a CraftieEmily. So my email's here. I put it up on the screen. I'll also put it in the description box. If you aren't on Instagram or didn't comment on my Instagram post, but you mentioned it here, I will comment on your comment and go back and comment on your comment about it and just say, look, if you definitely want to go ahead, there's no pressure, okay? If you want to go ahead, email me here. All I need is your PayPal address, which will provide me your PayPal email, which will provide me with your postal address. If your postal address is different to the address linked to your PayPal, let me know that, and basically which country you're in, just so I can price it right. And if you don't want to be, and I'm going to make the assumption that you'll want to be month to month, so the first invoice will be for 1 month. If you want to do something different, like 3 months and then just have 3 months of them, or 6 months and just have 6 months, put that in the email to me so that I know, so that I'll invoice you and then know that you've got 3 to come, if you see what I mean. So all I need to know is your name, I suppose. Yeah, obviously name's a good idea. And your PayPal email, the email that's linked to your PayPal, so that I can email you a PayPal invoice, and where in the world you are, and if your address is different to your PayPal address, because mine at the moment is different. So for now, it will all get streamlined, probably late July, everything will line up. But right now, my postal address here is different to my registered home address, which is my old house, because I'm in limbo, I'm between 2 places. So things get delivered here to me, but obviously invoiced there, because all my banking is still there until I've permanently changed on the electoral roll here. In the UK now, I'm going to wait until after the election, because I don't want to change my electoral roll details and miss voting. So I'm going to vote through my old place, and then I will update the electoral roll and come down here. That to me is my permanent change of address, is when I come off the electoral roll there and onto the electoral roll here. I don't know quite where the line is, but that's my line. And that's nothing to do with anything. But yes, the Needleminders are very nearly ready. I just need to get my act together and open a new PayPal, a business PayPal. And of course I have to remember that I'll have to pay tax on it, which I will, because I'm not a sneaky cheat. So I'll make sure I sort that out too, which is why I'm not doing it through my personal PayPal and then find out later down the line that I've done something chonky. I'm going to go straight in properly with a business PayPal. So yay. And then if I get a website later, which fingers crossed we'll be able to, and get away from Etsy, then I'll already have PayPal there running, and then you don't need to do very much else, because that will, if I used the business PayPal as the payment scheme, you can pay any which way with that. So that kind of all ties in and works too. It's just prepping for later, really. Anyway, guys, I'm talking nonsense now. Only a little bit of stitching, and I'm going to switch my projects up. I've already switched Jack B Nimble up, and I'm going to switch Aerial up for something non-full coverage for a bit. We'll see we'll see when I go to my pile what I actually pull out to do, but we'll see. Right, guys, I'm going to get going, get up, get ready. I'll see you later. Have a good week. Bye bye.